Many people assume that men fall in love primarily because of physical attraction. Movies, social media, and popular culture often reinforce the idea that a man's feelings are driven almost entirely by appearance. While attraction can certainly spark interest, it is rarely what creates lasting love. Attraction may open the door, but emotional safety is often what convinces a man to stay. The deeper truth about the male brain is that genuine love begins to grow when a man feels accepted, understood, and emotionally secure with someone. Most men spend a significant part of their lives carrying responsibilities, expectations, and pressures that others may never fully see. They are often encouraged to appear strong, confident, and in control even during difficult moments. As a result, many men become skilled at hiding vulnerability. They learn to keep certain fears, disappointments, insecurities, and emotions to themselves. Not because they do not have feelings, but because they are uncertain how those feelings will be received. This is where emotional safety becomes so powerful. When a man meets someone who allows him to be himself without fear of judgment, something begins to change. The walls he has carefully built over the years slowly start to come down. He no longer feels the need to constantly perform, impress, or protect every part of himself. Instead, he begins to experience the rare feeling of being accepted as he truly is. Emotional safety is not created through perfection. It is created through understanding. It comes from knowing that he can share his thoughts without immediately being criticized. It comes from feeling that his mistakes will not automatically define him. It comes from having conversations where he feels heard rather than judged. These experiences create trust, and trust is one of the strongest foundations of love. Many men do not fall in love the moment they meet someone attractive. They fall in love gradually as they experience emotional comfort in that person's presence. At first, they may enjoy the attraction, the excitement, and the chemistry, but deeper feelings often emerge when they realize they can relax around that person. They can laugh without pretending. They can talk without filtering every thought. They can reveal parts of themselves that few others ever see. This sense of acceptance creates a powerful emotional bond because it satisfies a fundamental human need. Every person wants to feel understood. Every person wants to feel that they can be authentic without risking rejection. When a man discovers that kind of connection, he begins associating that person with comfort, trust, and emotional security. Over time, those feelings become stronger than physical attraction alone. Another reason emotional safety matters is that it encourages vulnerability. Love cannot grow deeply where vulnerability is impossible. A man may enjoy someone's company, but true emotional attachment develops when he feels safe enough to share his fears, hopes, dreams, and uncertainties. These moments of openness create intimacy because they allow two people to connect on a level that goes far beyond appearances. The interesting thing about the male brain is that emotional safety often creates attraction rather than simply supporting it. The more understood and accepted a man feels, the more emotionally connected he becomes. He begins looking forward to conversations, valuing the person's opinion, and seeking their presence during both good and difficult times. The relationship becomes a source of peace rather than pressure. Over time, this emotional connection grows into something much deeper. The person is no longer just someone he enjoys seeing. They become someone he trusts, someone he relies on, someone whose presence makes life feel lighter and more meaningful. That is often the moment when attraction evolves into genuine love, because when a man feels completely accepted for who he is, his heart begins to open in ways that physical attraction alone could never achieve. One of the most powerful, yet often misunderstood aspects of how men fall in love is the role of appreciation. Many people assume that love grows only from attraction, chemistry, or shared interests. While those things certainly matter, the male brain often forms deeper emotional attachment when a man feels that his presence genuinely makes a difference in someone's life. He wants to feel valued, not for what he owns or how impressive he appears, but for who he is and the positive impact he brings to the relationship. At a psychological level, many men are naturally driven by purpose. They want to contribute, solve problems, provide support, and make life better for the people they care about. This desire does not necessarily mean financial support or grand heroic gestures. It can be as simple as offering encouragement during a difficult day, being there when someone needs help, or making sacrifices to create happiness for the person they love. When these efforts are recognized and appreciated, something important happens emotionally. The man begins to feel connected to the relationship on a much deeper level. Think about any area of life where effort goes unnoticed for long periods of time. Eventually, motivation begins to fade. Human beings naturally want to know that their actions matter. Men are no different. It's when a man feels that his kindness, loyalty, support, and commitment are valued, he becomes more emotionally invested. He feels that the relationship is not one-sided. He feels seen. He feels respected. Those feelings create a strong emotional foundation that attraction alone cannot provide. One of the reasons appreciation is so influential is because many men do not openly ask for it. They may continue showing up, working hard, and giving their best without ever mentioning how much acknowledgement means to them. From the outside, they may appear completely self-sufficient, but internally they still have the same human desire to feel important to someone. When a woman sincerely appreciates his efforts, she fulfills an emotional need that often goes unspoken. This appreciation does not have to be dramatic. In fact, it is often the small moments that have the greatest impact. A genuine thank you, a simple acknowledgement of his effort, a recognition of his character rather than just his accomplishments. These gestures communicate something powerful. I notice what you do, and I value it. For many men, those words carry tremendous emotional weight because they confirm that their contributions matter. The male brain also tends to associate positive emotions with the people who consistently create them. When a man repeatedly experiences appreciation, respect, and gratitude from someone, he begins associating that person with feelings of fulfillment and emotional reward. He naturally wants to spend more time with them because being around them feels good. Over time, this emotional connection strengthens and becomes an important part of how love develops. Appreciation also encourages vulnerability. When a man feels valued rather than criticized, he becomes more comfortable opening up emotionally. He becomes more willing to share his thoughts, dreams, fears, and insecurities because he trusts that they will be received with understanding. This openness deepens intimacy and creates a stronger emotional bond between two people. Perhaps most importantly, appreciation creates a cycle of mutual investment. When people feel valued, they are often inspired to give even more of themselves. The relationship becomes a place where both individuals feel supported and respected. Instead of focusing on what is lacking, they begin noticing and celebrating what each person brings to the connection. That is why many men fall deeply in love, not when they are merely admired, but when they genuinely feel appreciated. Attraction may capture attention, but appreciation captures the heart because it makes a man feel that his presence truly matters. And when a man feels valued for both who he is and what he gives, his emotional connection naturally grows into something far deeper than attraction alone. One of the biggest misconceptions about how men fall in love is the belief that deep emotional connection develops primarily through long conversations and endless discussions about feelings. While communication is certainly important, the male brain often builds emotional attachment in a different way. Many men connect through shared experiences. They fall in love not only because of what is said, but because of what is lived together. The moments they experience side by side often become the foundation upon which deeper feelings are built. Think about the strongest relationships in your life. Chances are they were not created in a single conversation. They were built through time, memories, challenges, victories, and countless shared moments. The same principle often applies to romantic love. A man may initially be attracted to someone because of her appearance or personality, but emotional attachment frequently grows through the experiences they create together. Each meaningful experience becomes another thread connecting their lives. The psychology behind this is fascinating. The human brain naturally forms stronger emotional bonds when people share significant experiences. These experiences create memories that become emotionally linked to the person involved. Over time, those memories accumulate and strengthen feelings of connection. A simple trip together, a meaningful conversation during a difficult time, a shared accomplishment, or even overcoming an obstacle as a team can leave a lasting emotional impact. This is why many men begin developing deeper feelings when they spend quality time with someone in real-life situations. They are able to observe how that person reacts to challenges, treats others, handles disappointment, celebrates success, and navigates everyday life. These observations create understanding, They reveal character. They show compatibility in ways that words alone often cannot. Shared challenges are especially powerful. Difficult moments have a unique ability to bring people closer together. When two people face adversity as a team, they learn to trust each other. They discover how the other person responds under pressure. They witness resilience, patience, compassion, and strength. For many men, these experiences create emotional respect, and respect is often a critical ingredient in lasting love. At the same time, positive experiences also play an important role. Laughter, adventure, excitement, and shared joy create strong emotional associations. The brain naturally remembers people who are connected to meaningful moments of happiness. When a man consistently experiences positive emotions with someone, he begins associating that person with those feelings. Over time, her presence itself becomes a source of comfort and enjoyment. What makes shared experiences so effective is that they create authenticity. During real-life situations, people reveal who they truly are. Masks begin to fade. Pretenses become harder to maintain. A man gets to see not only someone's strengths, but also their imperfections, and genuine emotional attachment often grows when he accepts and appreciates both. Love becomes less about an idealized image and more about a real person with whom he has built meaningful memories. Another important aspect is that experiences create stories. Human beings naturally connect through stories. Every trip taken together, every challenge overcome, every inside joke shared, and every memorable moment becomes part of a relationship's unique history. These shared stories create a sense of belonging. They remind two people that they have built something together that no one else can fully understand. Over time, these experiences begin to shape the way a man sees the relationship. It is no longer just about attraction or chemistry. It becomes about partnership, companionship, and the life they are creating together. The emotional bond grows stronger because it is rooted in reality rather than fantasy. This is why love often develops gradually in the male brain. It is built one experience at a time, one memory at a time, and one meaningful moment at a time. Each shared chapter adds depth to the connection until the relationship becomes an important part of his emotional world. And when a man looks back and realizes that his happiest, strongest, and most meaningful memories all include the same person, love often becomes impossible to ignore. Attraction may be what first captures a man's attention, but trust is often what captures his heart. This is one of the most important psychological realities of how men fall in love. Physical attraction can create excitement, curiosity, and desire, but those feelings alone are rarely enough to build lasting emotional attachment. For love to develop, something deeper must happen. A man must begin to feel that the connection is safe, genuine, and trustworthy. Only then does he allow himself to invest emotionally in a way that goes beyond surface-level interest. Many people do not realize how important trust is to the male mind. Men are often portrayed as emotionally simple or driven only by physical attraction, but the reality is far more complex. Just like anyone else, men fear disappointment, betrayal, rejection, and emotional pain. They may not always talk openly about these fears, but they exist. Because of this, many men protect themselves emotionally, especially in the early stages of a relationship. They may enjoy someone's company and feel attracted to them, yet still keep certain parts of themselves guarded. Trust is what gradually removes those barriers. It creates the confidence that emotional vulnerability will not be used against them. When a man begins to trust someone, he starts sharing more of who he really is. He becomes less focused on maintaining an image and more willing to reveal his authentic thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This shift is significant because genuine love cannot grow where authenticity is absent. Trust develops through consistency. It is not created by one grand gesture or one emotional conversation. It is built through repeated experiences that demonstrate reliability, honesty, and integrity. Every time someone keeps a promise, tells the truth, shows respect, or remains supportive during difficult moments, trust grows a little stronger. Over time, these small actions accumulate and create a foundation that feels solid and dependable. One reason trust is so powerful is because it allows emotional vulnerability. A man who trusts someone feels safer, expressing concerns, sharing dreams, discussing fears, and revealing insecurities he might normally keep hidden. These moments of vulnerability create emotional intimacy because they allow two people to connect on a deeper level. The relationship moves beyond attraction and begins to involve genuine understanding. Trust also reduces emotional tension. In relationships where trust is weak, people often spend time worrying about hidden motives, uncertain intentions, or potential disappointment. This uncertainty creates stress and prevents deeper connection, but when trust is present, much of that anxiety disappears. A man no longer feels the need to constantly question where he stands. He feels secure enough to focus on building the relationship rather than protecting himself from it. Another important aspect of trust is emotional reliability. Men often fall deeper in love when they know someone will remain consistent through both good and difficult times. It is easy to enjoy a relationship when everything is going well, but trust becomes strongest when someone remains supportive during challenges, misunderstandings, setbacks, and stressful periods. These moments prove that the connection is based on something real rather than temporary excitement. As trust grows, attraction begins transforming into attachment. The relationship becomes more meaningful because it is no longer based solely on how someone looks or how exciting they seem. It becomes rooted in confidence, security, and emotional connection. A man begins valuing not only the person's presence, but also the stability and comfort that come from knowing they can be trusted. Over time, trust changes the way he sees the future. He becomes more willing to make plans, share goals, and invest emotionally because he believes the relationship has a strong foundation. What started as attraction gradually evolves into commitment because trust has given him the confidence to open his heart fully. And when a man reaches the point where he trusts someone completely, love often stops being a possibility and starts becoming a reality. One of the greatest misunderstandings about how men fall in love is the belief that they are constantly searching for excitement, unpredictability, and emotional intensity. Movies, television, and social media often create the impressions that love is supposed to be a nonstop roller coaster filled with drama, tension, and extreme highs and lows. While excitement can certainly be enjoyable, it is rarely the foundation of lasting love. In reality, many men fall deepest in love with the person who brings peace into their lives. The psychology of the male brain often connects long-term emotional attachment with feelings of comfort, stability, and emotional security. Think about the demands that many men face every day. There are responsibilities, pressures, expectations, challenges, and countless decisions that require energy and focus. Life can often feel like a constant battle to solve problems and meet obligations. Because of this, many men are not looking for additional chaos when they enter a relationship. They are looking for a place where they can relax, recharge, and feel understood. When they find someone whose presence creates that feeling, a powerful emotional bond begins to form. Peace is not the same as boredom. Some people mistakenly assume that calm relationships lack passion or excitement. In reality, emotional peace creates the environment where trust, intimacy, and genuine connection can flourish. A man who feels emotionally safe with someone is often more willing to open up, communicate honestly, and invest deeply in the relationship. Instead of constantly protecting himself from conflict or uncertainty, he can focus on building something meaningful. This emotional stability becomes especially attractive because it is increasingly rare. Many relationships struggle because they are filled with unnecessary drama, constant misunderstandings, or emotional unpredictability. One day everything feels wonderful, and the next day tension appears without warning. Over time, this inconsistency creates stress. People begin focusing more on avoiding conflict than enjoying the relationship itself. The rare person who brings calmness stands out because being around them feels refreshing. A woman who creates emotional peace does not necessarily have a perfect life or a perfect personality. She experiences challenges, frustrations, and difficult emotions just like everyone else. The difference is in how she handles them. She communicates with maturity rather than reacting impulsively. She seeks understanding instead of creating unnecessary conflict. She approaches problems as issues to solve together rather than battles to win. This mindset creates an atmosphere where connection feels safe and sustainable. Men often associate these feelings with emotional security. When a man knows he can be himself without constantly being criticized, judged, or challenged unnecessarily, he feels more relaxed. He does not have to monitor every word or worry about triggering conflict over small issues. He feels accepted. This acceptance allows him to lower his emotional defenses, which is one of the key steps in falling deeply in love. Peace also creates room for growth. When a relationship is consumed by drama, emotional energy is spent managing conflict. Very little remains for building dreams, creating memories, and strengthening the bond. But when emotional stability exists, both people can focus on supporting each other's goals, enjoying shared experiences, and developing a deeper connection. The relationship becomes a source of strength rather than a source of stress. Over time, the male brain begins associating this sense of peace with the person providing it. Her presence becomes comforting. Conversations feel easier. Difficult days feel lighter. Life feels more manageable simply because she is part of it. This emotional association becomes incredibly powerful because human beings naturally gravitate toward environments where they feel calm, supported, and understood. Eventually, what started as attraction grows into something much deeper. A man realizes that he is not only drawn to the person, but also to the feeling he experiences when he is with her. He values her presence because it brings balance to his life and comfort to his heart. And when a man discovers someone who consistently brings peace to his world, love often follows naturally because he has found a place where his heart can truly rest. So one of the clearest signs that a man has moved beyond attraction and into genuine love is when he begins to see a future with someone. Attraction often focuses on the present moment. It is about enjoying someone's company, appreciating their personality, and feeling excited about spending time together. Love, however, changes the way a man thinks. Instead of asking himself whether he enjoys being with someone today, he starts imagining whether he wants that person beside him tomorrow, next year, and even many years from now. This shift in perspective is one of the most important psychological changes that occur when a man falls deeply in love. The male brain is naturally goal-oriented in many areas of life. Men often think about plans, objectives, solutions, and long-term outcomes. When a relationship becomes emotionally significant, this same mindset begins to include the person they love. Without even realizing it, they start viewing future experiences through a shared lens. Major decisions, personal goals, travel plans, life milestones, and dreams for the future begin to involve that person in some way. At first, this process may happen subtly. A man may mention future events and automatically assume the other person will be there. He may talk about upcoming plans months away, without questioning whether they will still be together. He begins creating mental pictures that include the relationship as a permanent part of his life. These thoughts are significant because they reveal emotional commitment. The relationship is no longer existing only in the present, it has become part of his vision for the future. This happens because genuine love creates emotional investment. When someone becomes important to a man's happiness, he naturally wants to protect and preserve that connection. He begins considering how the relationship fits into his long-term goals and how both people can grow together. The future stops being an individual journey and starts feeling like a shared adventure. One reason this stage is so meaningful is that it reflects trust. People do not usually build future plans around relationships they view as temporary. The willingness to imagine a shared future requires confidence in the connection. It requires believing that the relationship has the potential to endure challenges, adapt to changes, and continue growing over time. This belief strengthens emotional attachment because it transforms hope into commitment. A man who sees a future with someone also begins paying attention to deeper qualities. Physical attraction remains important, but it is no longer the primary focus. He becomes more interested in character, values, emotional compatibility, and shared goals. He asks himself whether this is someone he can trust during difficult times, celebrate with during good times, and build a meaningful life alongside. These questions reflect a shift from temporary excitement to lasting partnership. The psychology behind this is powerful because the future represents possibility. When a man includes someone in his future, he is essentially giving them a place in his dreams. He is allowing their presence to influence his plans, decisions, and aspirations. This level of emotional inclusion is one of the strongest indicators that love is becoming deeply rooted. Another important aspect is that envisioning a future creates greater emotional responsibility. A man who truly loves someone often becomes more willing to make sacrifices, work through challenges, and invest effort into maintaining the relationship. He understands that protecting the connection is important because he sees it as part of something larger than the present moment. The relationship becomes an investment in a future he genuinely wants to experience. Over time, These thoughts and feelings continue to grow. The person is no longer simply someone he enjoys spending time with. They become part of his emotional home, his support system, and his vision for what life could become. Their presence feels naturally connected to his hopes, goals, and dreams. And when a man can no longer imagine his future without someone standing beside him, attraction has usually transformed into the deepest form of love. Oils!